Hi, and welcome to Immigration Talks, being hosted by the law firm of Blissett. I'm Sherry Barrett, and I'm here with attorney Anokye Blissett. Hi, Anokye.
Hi, Sherry. How are you?
So today's topic is adjustment of status, and we have a few ways that this goes about. So, Anokye, I came into the country without a visa. What would be the requirements to adjust status?
Okay, so the idea of adjusting status is that we're hoping, as the attorney, that you're changing from one visa category to that of a permanent resident. You're adjusting your status. So in Sherry's case, she said she entered without a visa. So I'm assuming you have someone to petition for you, like your your husband, and he's a United States citizen?
Right.
Okay, so unfortunately, it's not an easy case, and that's the first thing I say to them, and their face changes to one of sadness. What happens there is that there needs to be a waiver of some sort if you came in without proper documents. One way is that we apply for the waiver here in the States if you so qualify for that particular waiver, and it's adjudicated here. And once it's approved, then you go down to the U.S. Embassy in your home country. You'll have the interview there, and then you enter back with your immigrant visa. Another way we try to do it is by 245I, which is the actual statute in the Immigration and Nationality Act, where it is you may have a previous sponsorship. Maybe your mom sponsored you, but you aged out, and she sponsored you before 2001 or 1998, and we tried to use that petition. Or maybe grandpa sponsored mom, and you aged out, so you couldn't come when mom came. So then, and again, it has to be an old petition, and we tried to get you in off of that and grandfather you in using the old petition. Of course, there are a lot of procedures and requirements. I'm just going over the general stuff, but those are some of the ways we try to do it when you enter without a visa.
Okay, great. So what if I entered with someone else's visa?
So if you entered with someone else's visa, that case normally has to be processed down in your home country. It needs to be adjudicated down in the embassy there, and which means that there will be a time when the family will be split apart, whether it is maybe your spouse and if any children will move down and wait for you, but there will be a time where there will be a split because it must be adjudicated there.
And if I came in on a U.S. passport?
So that one is the worst one. We don't want to hear that one because that's a permanent bar. There is no please forgive me, as what we're doing with the waivers, where we're saying, please forgive me, my U.S. citizen spouse is going to suffer extreme hardship should I not be able to come. In the case of a U.S. Entering with a U.S. passport or at any time falsely claiming U.S. citizenship, it's a permanent bar. And it's a deportable offense, even as a green card holder.
Okay. But this time I did come in on a visa.
So those are the ones we're happy about. So your husband is still sponsoring you at this point. Mm-hmm. So at that point, we need to prove a bona fide marriage. So whatever it is that you have, my office tries to put the package around your life. I don't change your life to benefit immigration. Everyone's life is different. I've done cases where one of the spouses are working away from each other. So they work maybe in Long Island, all the way in Suffolk County, and one lives in Queens, and we prove it, and it's okay because that's what happens in their marriage. At every relationship at all times, due to work circumstances, they live together. So we try to do that. If it is that's the hardest one to do, obviously proving a bona fide marriage. If you did come in with a visa and you have an adult child, the adult child can sponsor you. And who cannot sponsor you, though, are your parents if you're an adult. That's a big question we always get in the office, that my parent wants to sponsor me and she's a citizen. Not if you're 30 years old.
Does the processing time change depending on the status that my spouse is in?
Yes, it's always immediate if your spouse is a U.S. citizen. Otherwise, it can't be done. Generally speaking, there are exceptions to every rule, but if it is that your spouse or your spouse is a green card holder, it can be done.
Okay, great. Thank you for the information. So don't forget to give us a call for your appointment, 718-849-6900. Mention that you saw us on the Maxine Tulloch Show for a free consultation. Again, that number is 718-849-6900. Thanks for having me.